What cities do you think of when it comes to creative agencies? Do you think of New York, Chicago, or even Portland? Well, how about Minneapolis? That's right, snowy and cold Minneapolis. This mid-sized city tends to stay under the radar, but they have some of the best creative agencies in the game. Today, we're going to take a look at 3 of those agencies and what makes them so special. We're going to take a look at Carmichael Lynch, Colle McVoy, and Knock. But before we get into it, be sure to support the show by giving this episode a like, leaving a comment, and of course by subscribing. This is Ziggy the Designer, the show where we talk about the world of graphic design and the people that make it move. Design is all around us, so we might as well talk about it. So if you don't know Minneapolis is a mid-sized city in the United States Midwest. Winters there are frigid cold and snowy, and summers are horribly hot and humid. The general idea with Minneapolis is that not much happens there, but if you know what you're talking about, then it's no secret that Minneapolis is home to Fortune 500 companies such as Target, 3M, and General Mills, to name a few. It's also home to major sports teams, such as the NFL's Minnesota Vikings, or Major League Baseball's Twins, or the NBA's Timberwolves, or the WNBA's Lynx. But Minneapolis is also home to some of the best creative agencies in the country. So let's get into it. I'm confident in saying that Carmichael Lynch is Minneapolis's it agency right now, and I'm sure they know it, right? I mean, look at the way they speak about themselves. It just oozes confidence. I mean, look at their social media. They call their interns the in crowd, like the cool kids in school. Look at how grand this post was, announcing that they've been named a top 200 workplace in Minneapolis. They even let us know about their annual workplace gathering. How kind of them to let us know about the gathering, right? It sounds exclusive. It sounds like this meeting that we weren't invited to. Carmichael Lynch knows that they're cool. And they are cool, rightfully so. A big client they got in 2024 was the NFL's Houston Texans. First of all, to be an agency in Minneapolis and winning work for a big name client out of Houston is a major move. That's no joke. That's a big accomplishment. Second, the work they did for the Texans is some of the best work I've seen in sports design. Carmichael Lynch did the new visual identity for the Texans, and it's unlike anything that we're seeing in the NFL right now. It captures the pageantry of the NFL perfectly. I love the use of 3D. I love the use of the lighting effects, and the typography is eclectic in the best way possible. It's something that only Carmichael Lynch can pull off, and it's something that they've pulled off with many other clients. Now, I do have to say that beyond the social media announcements that you see on LinkedIn and Instagram, there isn't much else beyond that highlighting the partnership between Carmichael Lynch and the Houston Texans. There was an Adweek article that was published, however, that article has been taken down. Now, the thing with Carmichael Lynch is that they're under the Interpublic Group umbrella. And if you've been staying up to date with your ad industry news, Interpublic Group is set to be acquired by Omnicom. And we go more into detail about that in a previous episode. Link is in the description. So I'm curious to see how this acquisition is going to impact the agency. Because if you end up losing people, right, and especially people like Milton Oon, who's behind a lot of the great sports work that Carmichael Lynch has produced, that's a major loss to the agency. There's a lot of great, confident work coming out of Carmichael Lynch. I'm excited to see if they keep it going in 2025. So if any agency is pushing Carmichael Lynch for that top spot in Minneapolis, I'd say it's this agency right here. I'd say it's Colle McVoy. This is an agency that is a year removed from being Adweek's mid-size agency of the year, and that came off of a year where they won accounts such as Haribo, Lazy Boy, and Craftsman, national brands, nationally recognized brands. It also came off of a year when they received their B Corp certification, which is a major move for environmental impact. So they came into 2024 with a lot of momentum, and they carried that momentum the entire year. They were the agency behind the Minneapolis Star Tribune rebrand, now known as the Minnesota Star Tribune, which was one of my favorite rebrands of the year. I know that's no secret. We dive into that in a previous episode as well, link also in the description. They closed out a stellar 2024 with this ad spot for Lazy Boy, which gained a ton of recognition on social media. It made us look at recliners, which is what Lazy Boy is known for making. And it made us look at recliners from a different perspective. The ad spot takes us into an airplane, which is probably the worst place people can recline. So the message is, hey, don't recline on the airplane. Don't recline on your flight. Recline at home on your Lazy Boy recliner. I thought the spot was fun. I thought it was clever. Now, much like at Carmichael Lynch, there are leadership changes happening at Colle McVoy. The biggest change, though, is that in 2025, Colle McVoy will have a new CEO. After 17 years at the helm, Kristen Fruchty will be stepping down as CEO, making way for Jessica Henricks. Fruchty had a legendary run as CEO of Colle McVoy. Not only did she guide the agency through the Great Recession, she tripled the agency's revenue and increased earnings sixfold. Those are incredible numbers. Henricks is no slouch either, though. She's been a massive player in winning these massive clients for the agency, working to bring in Frank's Red Hot, Lazy Boy, and Craftsman, as we mentioned earlier. It's a new era for Colle McVoy, and I'm excited to see what they'll do. Finally, we have Knock. Knock is one of those agencies that tends to stay under the radar. You're not going to see a lot of media talking about them, like you'll see with Carmichael Lynch or Colle McVoy. But that doesn't mean, they aren't doing spectacular work. This is an agency that has a very close relationship working with Target. If you've ever stepped foot inside of a Target store, you've seen Knock's work. But they're not just a Target agency, right? This is an agency that has worked alongside other nationally recognized brands like Radisson Hotels, La Marca Prosecco, and LensCrafters. You look at their work, and this is some of the best art direction work that you're gonna find. And really, this is an agency that's going through a lot of positive growth. They recently did the rebranding work for the Minnesota Orchestra. That project was featured on Brand New, one of the leading publications for brand design out there. They also recently opened an office in Miami. Huge step for the team there. This is an agency that is only going to get stronger. But the thing I really love about Knock, what I really love about Knock is the people. These are good people. These are great human beings. Knock is heavily involved and invested in the Minneapolis community. They're taking work with local nonprofits, with local activist groups, and local government groups. This isn't an agency that's taking this type of work, as a feel-good project. This is something that they really believe in. This work means something to them. And these are also people working to make the agency world better, right? I've worked agency side, and it's no secret that amongst creatives, there are behind closed door conversations about how agencies treat their creatives. And if you're an agency creative, then you know exactly what types of conversations I'm talking about. You talk with any creative at Knock, and those conversations don't happen there. Knock treats their people well, and their creatives stay for a long time. This is the agency that I root for. I'll make it no secret that I grew up in Minneapolis. I went to school in Minnesota, and my first job out of college was at an agency in Minneapolis. A lot of my design network is in Minneapolis. Being in Chicago now, it's easy to see that Chicago is one of the most creative cities in the world. There are heavy agency hitters here. Leo Burnett is here, Ogilvy is here. You name it, there's probably an office for them. But the truth is, these agencies out in Minneapolis, they're doing work that is just as good, if not better, than a lot of the agencies here in Chicago. That's not bad for a city that's only known for being snowy and cold, right? But let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all I have for you. Be sure to give this episode a like, subscribe to the show, and share. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are 2 things you need to know about me, it's that 1, I love design. And 2, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.